Hello and welcome to Good Morning Thailand. I'm Jay, this is Tim, and we're back on a bright Friday morning.
What happened with the wardrobe malfunction? We're both wearing the same shirts.
Well, actually, we planned it because these are special shirts, aren't they?
Special shirts for special people.
That's right.
Norm, who works on that side of the backdrop for Thaiger, his family makes these fabulous shirts.
Yes.
And so we got these to try on to check our sizing. I'm extra small and Jay is 2XL. And so we've decided that they fit okay. We're going to have to do something about the top button.
Yeah, they're meant for the beach, so they're very loosey-goosey.
So you don't want to see much skin.
Nobody wants to see
We'll
that.
fix that up.
Yes.
But we're going to get some made. We're getting some made for you and me.
That's right.
So,
For the show.
So in-house
Yeah.
shirt supplier, and they've got some really interesting designs.
And who knows? Yeah, they've got brilliant designs, and who knows, in the future, there could be a big demand for this. So
Watch out for merchandising.
watch out, Thaiger merchandising. Anyways. now-
90% commission for us.
That's right. Okay. And we'd also, before we start the show, thank Coffee Culture for providing us these beautiful mugs, as well as ground and coffee beans from across Thailand. Type in the code the Thaiger for 10% discount. All right, let's get on with the show.
On with the show.
We did a poll yesterday.
Yes.
Yes, we did. And we asked a question which goes as so. It's been known as the land of smiles. We mean Thailand for a long time now. But as Thailand gets ready to more fully reopen its doors on November the 1st, is it time for a new slogan? So over to you. Thailand is the land of... And we asked
Question
you,
mark.
Yeah, and we asked you to fill in the blanks, and we're going to read out some of the best responses from yesterday. I think around 400 comments.
Well, I've written 250 responses, but it's been going ever since, so probably up to 400
last
by
I checked,
now.
I think it was 400. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. But yes, we've got some of your best responses. Let me just start off. What is Thailand, the land of? The first comment is...
Mark?
It's Mark, and he says, the land of paperwork and making everything difficult, but when it goes tits up, it's not our fault.
Jordan L says it's the land of smiles, but you can't see them because of masks.
Oh, that's right. That makes sense. R2112 says Thailand is the land of no hap.
Duncan Donut says the land of crap.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
AB says the land of paradoxes, surrounded by riddles wrapped in an enigma.
Alexander Lane says it's the land of hubs. If you listen to our news, we're always talking about new hubs.
Yeah, Lesbian Alien further emphasizing that it's the land of paperwork.
Alexandra Dupont says, or Alexandra Dupont says, the land of making things more complicated.
That's right. Adam Frank says, land of not wear a crash helmet, but wear a mask.
Alan49 says, Thailand is the land of broken dreams.
Oof, Alan. It's gone through a tough time. ABD Roofing says the land of for sale signs.
David says the land of smiles when you're giving them money. Ooh, sarcastic.
Robert Schrader says Thailand is the land of quarantine-free quarantine.
The land of contradictions. That's from I Love Travel.
Sizzleman says the land of hoops to jump through.
And if you're not bored by this so far, we'll keep going. Terry Jeffrey says the land of dual pricing.
212 Roger says land of lost smiles.
The land of face nappies and smiling eyes. From JA, obviously making a bit of a statement there.
Jörg Schupbach says land of double-priced, double standards.
Mark Cooper, the land of nonsense schemes.
Patrick Linden says land of smiles 20 years ago, yeah.
I'm sort of bored with these. The land of memories from Yatan Puri.
Douglas says the land of lost deposits.
And all kinds of gains says land of smirks.
Oh, I don't know who
Somebody, I couldn't find it, but one person was very cryptic and they said it's now the land of smile. I thought it was quite clever.
Oof. Oof.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining in our quick poll there. The land of all those new things.
True. Anyways.
To me, it's still the land of smiles. I'm very happy to live here and love it every day.
He's getting deported by the end of the week. Anyways, rules for travelers now clarified. So yesterday we spoke about the 5 steps tourists will have to take once they start arriving after November the 1st to reopening of Thailand. Now, we're going to look into that in a bit more detail as
The
now
fine print.
Yeah, the fine print as we've now received more details. Tim, would you like to start us off?
Well, it kicks off on Monday, and this is all to do with the new Thailand pass, and they're not going to have the certificate of entry anymore. So we know that travellers are going to be in 3 groups. So you've got the first group are fully vaccinated people from 46 countries and territories.
That's right.
The website to check that is thaiembassy.com if you want to find if your country is on that, and it gets updated every 2 weeks. And they're going to have to stay 1 night at least in an SHA certified hotel or an ASQ hotel, and they're going to have to wait for a PCR test that will be conducted probably at that hotel. And then they can travel anywhere in Thailand. And the second group is for fully vaccinated visitors from countries not in those 46 countries or territories, and they're going to have to stay in an SHA hotel for 7 nights in a sandbox area.
Yep.
And you've got those 17 provinces. Well, you looked them up for us.
I've memorized it in my brain. No, I have not.
We know it's including, obviously, Phuket, which was the first sandbox, but it will also include Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Chonburi, Krabi.
Yeah.
They're some of the important ones, but most of the touristy zones will be included in that new sandbox.
Right.
The third group is for unvaccinated people who are not, or not fully vaccinated travellers, like they've had 1 vaccine, not 2. And they're required to stay in an ASQ hotel for at least 10 nights, so it's a 10-night quarantine. And after they've passed their second COVID test, then they'll be able to travel to other parts of Thailand. Now, when you arrive in Thailand, you can enter through 6 international airports.
That's right. One being Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Phuket, Samui, and Utapao, which is in Rayong.
Now, so Buriram Airport is also going to be open, but only for chartered flights.
Yep.
Now, so of course that's all fine, but you've got to find a flight that's actually going to one of those airports. Most of them will go through Phuket and Bangkok in the early days. You're going to have to present your negative PCR test that's been issued within 72 hours when you arrive, and your Thailand Pass QR code.
Yes.
We'll talk more about that in a moment. And that's as you pass through the health health screening and the immigration department. Then you're going to have to download the More Chana app on your phone. I'll find my More Chana app so that it actually works. Where's my More Chana app? I should have been more prepared. There it is. So
It says More Shana on it.
it's updating. If it comes up red, I'm in real strife and I'll be dragged off to an ASQ facility. Anyway, you can see it updating there, and it gives you a code and things that you can show people, and they can check that you're all approved.
Also, a quick note for those fully vaccinated tourists coming from those 46 green zone countries that are allowed to come in without quarantine, you have had stayed in that country for 21 days.
Yes.
A minimum of 21 days. So it's not like you just move from a red zone to a green zone and then you can fly to Thailand. No, you need to stay in that country for 21 days, and then you'd be able to allowed in.
So we've got some more details on that too.
Yes.
Now, the approved hotel is going to be conducting your PCR test. They're also putting a price ceiling on PCR tests. They haven't announced what that is yet. And fully vaccinated local or foreign residents are not able to quarantine in their own home. They're going to have a night in an approved ASQ or SHA Plus hotel.
Yes.
Hope you're keeping notes. If the result is positive, then they're going to have to go to a hospital or an ASQ hotel at your expense. Check your insurance to make sure it will cover those particular expenses.
Yep.
Now, for the Thailand Pass, all international travellers, whether you're Thai or local, are going to have to apply for a Thailand Pass. This replaces the certificate of entry, and the website we'll put under the description below is tp.consular.go.th.
And this goes live 9 a.m. on Monday.
Just in time for the 1 to 7 days waiting period.
I mean, imagine 9:01, all these people go on and the site crashes. That, I mean,
You know
hope
it.
not.
You know that's
I'm
going to
sure
happen.
they're prepared.
You know
I'm
it's
sure
gonna
they're
happen.
prepared.
So you're going to have to upload your documents onto this website, including a vaccination certificate, all your medical insurance details, which have to have a minimum coverage of 50,000 baht.
Yes.
And they say it's going to take 1 to 7 days to approve the Traveller's Thailand Pass. It will then generate a QR code, and that's what you use when you arrive. So they also say that the approval process will be faster faster than 7 days if your vaccine certification is in a digital form. In other words, it's just not a scanned piece of paper, but it's a document that's been generated on the internet that you can just copy and paste. Now, if you're travelling with children, a lot of people have been asking about this. Children under 12 years of age travelling with their parents aren't required to have a vaccine certificate. But if you're older than 12 years old, a vaccine certificate and medical insurance will be required.
That's right.
And the medical insurance, okay, who has to carry that?
So, yeah, only the tourists. Thai nationals don't actually require medical insurance.
But
they're already covered.
There is another exemption, another bit of fine print. This is all about the fine print, baby. The CSSA is working to extend the insurance exemption to foreign residents who already have medical and health insurance in Thailand.
Yep.
Now, the CSSA are meeting about that today, hope to announce that before Monday. Foreign travellers need to ensure that their insurance policy doesn't only specify COVID-19, but also general medical insurance and hospital expenses.
Yep.
So how are we going so far? Do you want to have a break?
No, I think let's finish this. Let's
Keep
finish
going?
this topic, yes.
Okay, this is all the fine details.
Yeah.
Fully vaccinated travellers from the 46 countries and territories are required to have stayed at least, as you said, 21 days. There is a few complications there. Fully vaccinated local and foreign residents, that's like you and me, can travel to one of the 46 countries for a shorter period and then return. They're not required to stay 21 days in that country.
Okay.
But that exemption doesn't apply to local and foreign residents who visit countries that aren't on the list of 46 eligible countries or territories. Okay, so that's about all the details. What's this one? Exceeding 12 hours and they can stay in the airport? Oh, yeah, if you're a transit passenger.
Yes.
Okay, so you're flying from the United States and you're going to travel via Taiwan or Hong Kong or South Korea. For transit passengers passing through countries that aren't on the list of 46 approved countries or territories, they can continue their trip to Thailand as long as the transit period doesn't exceed 12 hours and if they stay in the airport.
Yeah.
So you can come through some, one of those countries. So you can come through Afghanistan.
Well, more likely either like
Zimbabwe.
Dubai or Doha if you're flying Emirates or Qatar. Like most people like to come via the hubs.
So another hub.
Yeah.
The land of hubs.
The land of hubs.
So so you can come through one of those countries, not in the list of 46, but you only if your transit period is less than 12 hours and you don't leave the airport.
Yeah.
Now, interesting beyond that is who can come to Thailand. Now, we announced earlier this week that one of those countries was China.
Yes.
That Chinese people will be able to visit Thailand if they're fully vaccinated. But the Association of Thai Travel Agents says that Chinese authorities may not let their citizens leave China to travel to Thailand until the end of next year.
Okay.
So that's really going to put a dent in possible numbers because the Chinese contributed before 2019 about 11 million travellers, tourists per year, which was equivalent of 27% of all international tourists. So if they're not coming until the end of next year, that's going to put a big dent in the possible visitors.
Yeah.
And you've got some announcement about India.
Yeah, well, on the other hand, India being second largest country in the world in terms of population, China, one being allowed to come, but saying that they're not going to be allowed to come, and one wanting to come and not on the list of 46 countries that is actually approved to come without quarantine. So Mr. Satish Sehgal, who is the chairman of the India-Thai Businessmen Association.
We want to come.
Yes, he has expressed his concern over India's exclusion from the list, saying that a lot of Indian tourists want to come to Thailand. They do bring a lot of money into Thailand. They come for business purposes. They come for weddings, and Indian weddings take about a week, and they spend a lot of money for it, as well as tourism, and not having India in one of these lists. Not being one of the countries on the list is a bad move, and he's urging and he's expressing his concerns that please put India onto the list, let the people come in, or they're going to go to other countries, and we're going to lose this huge market of tourists.
Some 2 to 4 hours away only, flying across the Bay of Bengal, and you can be here from India. So there's 2 countries that do weddings really, really well. India is one of them. Yes. Wow, do they do incredible. And the other country is Greek weddings, Greece.
Oh, okay.
Wow, they're huge.
Okay, cool. I've never seen a Greek wedding. I've heard about them, yeah.
Amazing.
All right, let's take a quick break, and then when we return from the break, we have very little to talk about because we've spoken a lot.
Oh, I've got plenty to talk about.
But yes, we're going to be talking about top coffee drinkers in the world, referring to a story we did yesterday about making coffee in a lab.
And a bit of political shenanigans.
That's right, political shenanigans, and
By the way,
love that.
All those details, we're going to post those as a story at thetiger.com. So just about everything I read and all those websites, I'll post at thetiger.com.
That's right, stay tuned for that. We'll be right back right after this. Welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Thailand. I'm Jay. This is Tim, and it's now time to talk about coffee because that's what's important in the morning.
Yeah, and of course we've got our coffeeculture.asia sponsor, but we were talking yesterday about the development of this lab coffee where they're going to grow faux beans or something in a lab, which will save on all the agribusiness, save all the cost of the workers, save destroying rainforest, etc., etc. And a lot of people wondering, what's it going to taste like? But I thought it was interesting to know who are the top coffee drinkers in the world. Remembering that this lab coffee is being developed in Finland.
Yes.
Well, I checked the top 25 countries for consumption of coffee. You got any guesses now that you're looking at my notes?
Well, I've seen the list, I'm not going to lie. But
so the first 10...
I would have had to say... one of my guesses would be a country coming from, that has a very strong winter climate. So, somewhere in Scandinavia or one of the European countries because, in Thailand, we don't really face winter. So I'm guessing people who have to face winter drink a lot more coffee because it's, helps warm them up in the morning.
So the top 10 nations, and there's a theme to this: Finland, Norway, Iceland, Denmark, Netherlands, Sweden, Switzerland, Belgium, Luxembourg, and then Canada. So the first 9 are all in Europe, Northern Europe.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a theme there. So Northern Europeans love their coffee. And then you go through, are there any surprises? Italy, Brazil, a huge...
Italy, I'm surprised Italy is so low. I thought Italians love their espresso and coffee.
Was the 1950s in Australia, after many southern European refugees came to Australia to settle. I'm moving into a bit of a side story here.
It's like story time with Tim. It was 1950 in southern Australia.
I wasn't born, but of course a lot of the Italians came and they opened up these cafes and things in places like Melbourne, where I'm from, which is now a huge coffee capital. Mm-hmm. But all these strange smells were wafting out of the cafes, these huge espresso machines and little chairs out on the sidewalk. And Australians at that stage were big tea drinkers. So, the Italians brought coffee to Australia. It's now huge. But, then you've got Lebanon, Cyprus are 2 big countries for coffee. Wow. And down at number 25, the United States.
Oh, wow, that's slightly surprising.
Thailand's not in the top 25.
It's also strange how, some of the biggest producers of coffee, like, countries like from Guatemala, from Colombia.
Guatemala,
they don't.
Venezuela.
They don't seem to actually drink it. They just produce it.
Yes, they're not silly.
They're just feeding everyone else.
And yeah, Thailand is quite a big coffee grower, but not in the top 25 countries. So I just
I
thought
think
that
they're
was
in the top 50 probably.
Well, I didn't get that far.
Oh well.
So I thought that was interesting.
Right. Okay, now it's time to talk about politics. Everybody, put on your glasses, sharpen your pencils.
So, okay, just a very quick background. The Palang Pracharat Party is the party with the highest number of MPs in Parliament. But there's some 21 parties involved in a coalition which gives them the majority in the lower house in Thailand. So it's not just Palang Pracharat. They didn't win a majority. So some of those 21 parties are like single MPs with their own party. But yeah, it's a sort of a loose coalition of 21 different parties. But one of the MPs in Palang Pracharat is a man we've spoken about before on this program and also quite a lot in the news, the MP from Phayao.
Sorry?
He's the province of Phayao.
Phayao.
P-H-A, Phayao.
Phayao.
I did pretty well according to Chai.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's captain. I'm not sure why he's called captain. Captain Tamanat Prompau.
Yeah.
Now, he spent 4 years, courtesy of the Australian government, in a prison serving a sentence for heroin trafficking, which he says was a misunderstanding.
I mean, just 4 years, yeah.
Of course.
Misunderstanding.
But he was the Deputy Agricultural Minister. But you may recall a couple of months ago we had the session in Parliament.
That's right.
Where the
no confidence vote
for the
right.
Prime Minister.
Yep.
And all the coalition, the opposition members, MPs, were trying to get some of the people from the Palang Pracharat coalition to side with them to get the votes. And Tamanat Prompau was allegedly trying to also get some of the party members to vote against the Prime Minister. Mm-hmm. So on hearing this, the Prime Minister demoted him from the cabinet and his position as Deputy Agricultural Minister. But Tamanat Prompau, are you following this? He is also the Secretary General of the Palang Pracharat Party, with strong support from General Prawit Wongsuwon, who is the leader of the Palang Pracharat Party but isn't an MP. How are we going so far?
You've lost me.
Okay, well, I don't mean to. But anyway, there's been discussions over the last... Oh, you just lowered the thing again.
My bad.
Stop doing that. So we should just have it raising slowly. So where was I? He's now survived sort of a bit of an internal coup. There's been meetings this week, but the phones have been running hard. But it looks like he's survived and remained as the Secretary General of the Palang Pracharat Party. But he is not being given back his Deputy Agricultural Minister position.
But you know, the fact that Prawit has kind of stepped in to basically save him, does that send a strong message that, you know, not all is rosy?
Yeah, I think that's exactly the situation. So Prawit Wongsuwon has been the best ally for the Prime Minister, Prayut Chan-o-cha. So all is not well in Palang Pracharat, and the diminutive, he's only about this tall, Prawit Wongsuwon, I think he's 73 years old. He is like the head kicker in the government. He's the one that sort of keeps them all firing the guns in the same direction. So all is not well, and expect to hear more about that, although, of course, people emerging from the meeting yesterday said, yeah, everything's fine.
Everything is always fine.
So more about Tamanat Prompau is a name you haven't heard the last of.
Right. And those are all the top stories in Thailand today.
Well, I thought that was interesting.
Sure. Let's just go with that. For all the people who are like, oh, why are they not talking about news? This is a new channel.
What is news?
And at the same time, they'll be like, why are you talking about politics? We don't care about politics. But hey, a little for everyone today. A little for everyone. And that's what we're here. We're here to make the people happy on a Friday morning. It's the weekend soon, thank God. Right. that's all we
We've
have
got
for
free
today.
lunch here today, by the way.
We do.
Not for you, but for us.
A little insider secrets. So now that we've moved to the Bangkok office and we've had such a large team, Friday is a day where we get to, relax, wear our beach
Flowery
shirts on,
shirts.
even though we're like about 50 kilometers to 100 kilometers away from the closest beach.
True.
But yeah, we get to spend some time with our colleagues, have a nice lunch together. It's, some special lunch where everyone gets together, talks, and then
I'll make a speech.
Yeah, has a nice weekend, and then on Monday continues to pretend like we don't know each other.
We've got about 30 full-time staff here for the Thaiger in the Bangkok office now, so it's getting a bit busy and a bit expensive to feed them all on Fridays.
Yeah.
I'm not cooking, by the way, and the plant's even been invited.
Yep, they have. So, anyways, we hope you've enjoyed today's show. We hope that you have a great Friday and even a better weekend. Stay tuned for Bangkok Pat's documentary that will be coming out tomorrow. Today it is available to the members for a quick preview. Yes, for everyone else, you can catch that video tomorrow. It will probably go live at 9 a.m. So stay tuned for the next Bangkok Pat documentary if you're interested in...
What's it about?
In Bangkok history. This one in particular, excellent question,
I thought so.
is about...
Last week it was about Klong San, and the
That's
week
right.
before it was about Bangkok losing its sort of mojo.
That's right. This one is actually a special one. It's dedicated especially to the tourists and the reopening and whoever's coming to Thailand. It's how not to lose your head in Thailand. And Bangkok Pat actually goes through all the things that we're aware of, that we're not aware of, and how not to lose your head in Thailand. So it's actually a special one this week. It's different to what he normally does, but it's quite interesting. So stay
Include
tuned
all
for
the
that.
things that people love to do.
That's right.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure that's what it is.
It just came out about 20 minutes ago, so it's hot for the take.
But only for members for the next 24 hours.
That's right. Thank you, and we will see you next Monday.